I should have stopped. Every instinct I had was screaming at me to leave the mall and never come back. But fear had turned into obsession. And obsession is dangerous. Especially when something impossible starts giving you answers. The next night, I returned with a single goal. I wanted to know what existed beneath the escalators. Not metaphorically. Literally. Whatever was hiding below those glowing metal teeth. Whatever kept swallowing objects. Whatever kept creating copies of me. I needed to see it. The mall closed at 7. By 8:30, I was already standing beside the descending escalator. The white tape still circled the handrail. Exactly where I had left it. Waiting. Like the mall remembered me. Or maybe, like it had been expecting me. I started counting. 1 loop. 2 loops. 5 loops. 10. The mannequins turned again. Every head rotated toward the escalator. Every plastic face stared at the exact spot where I would arrive. I felt less surprised this time. That scared me more than anything, because it meant I was getting used to it. The loop activated. The 44th step appeared. Then the 45th. The air changed. Everything felt slightly heavier, like the building itself was sinking. I walked toward Unit 214. The yellow lamps were waiting. Not 4 anymore. 8. Perfectly arranged. Glowing without power. Each one casting overlapping circles of light across the floor. The room looked larger now. Far larger than the mall blueprint should allow. The back wall seemed impossibly distant. As if the room continued forever. I aimed my flashlight deeper inside. The beam never reached the end. It simply faded. Swallowed by darkness. My stomach tightened. Then I heard something. A voice. My voice. Very faint. Coming from somewhere beyond the lamps. Keep counting. I froze. The voice repeated. Keep counting. Exactly my voice. Exactly my tone. But it wasn't me. The sound came from deep inside the room. From somewhere impossible. I backed away immediately. I didn't enter. Not yet. Instead I returned to the escalators. Because another idea had formed. A terrible idea. The kind that sounds intelligent right before it ruins your life. If the escalator connected to whatever existed beneath the mall, then maybe I could reach it. I grabbed a maintenance ladder from storage, dragged it across the floor, positioned it beside the glowing comb. Then I waited, watching, listening. The machinery underneath sounded different now. No longer mechanical. It sounded alive, breathing, slow, patient, hungry. I lowered a small inspection camera into the gap. The cable descended. 10 feet. 20. 30. Still going. My hands started shaking. The screen remained black. Then suddenly, the image appeared. Concrete. Then darkness. Then more darkness. The camera kept falling. 50 feet. 60. 70. The mall only had 2 floors. There was no way this was possible. Then movement appeared on the screen. Something pale. Standing far below. Human-shaped. Motionless. Watching the camera descend. I nearly dropped the monitor. The figure wasn't moving. But somehow I knew it was watching me. Not the camera. Me. I jerked the cable upward. The screen filled with static. The image vanished. Then the cable went tight. Something had grabbed it. I pulled harder. The resistance increased. For several seconds we pulled against each other. Me above. Something below. Then the cable snapped. The monitor went black. Silence. Absolute silence. Even the machinery stopped. For one horrifying second the entire mall became still. No music.
No ventilation. No humming lights.
Nothing. Then everything resumed at once. As if nothing had happened. I left immediately. For the first time since this started. I was genuinely terrified. Because whatever lived below the escalator now knew I was looking. And once you notice something, sometimes it notices you back. The following week became a blur. I stopped sleeping properly. Every night I dreamed about escalators. Endless escalators. Thousands of them, moving through darkness, descending forever. And every time I looked down, I could see people standing below, waiting, watching, counting, always counting. 41, 42, 43, 44. Then I would wake up, sweating, heart racing. The strange thing was, the dreams weren't the worst part. The worst part was what started happening while I was awake. At first it was small. I would leave my apartment and find wet napkins folded neatly beside the door, the same way I folded them at work. Then I began finding white tape, little strips, placed on random objects, coffee mugs, door handles, light switches, like someone was marking them, cataloging them, remembering them. The mall's behavior was spreading, following me home. Or maybe, something from the mall was. One night, I woke up around 3 in the morning. My apartment was dark, silent. Then I heard counting, very soft, coming from my living room. 48, 49, 50.
He said upright instantly.
Frozen. The counting stopped. For several seconds, nothing happened. Then a voice whispered, "Your turn." I turned on every light in the apartment. Nothing was there. But my living room had changed. Every chair faced the hallway leading to my bedroom. Every single one. Just like the mannequins. As if they had been waiting for me to appear. I didn't sleep again that night. And deep down, I knew the truth. The loop wasn't inside the mall anymore. The loop had followed me home. The next morning, I called in sick. For the first time in 3 years. I told my boss I had food poisoning. He didn't sound convinced. Honestly, I didn't care. Because something was wrong. Not with the mall. With me. The loop had escaped. Or maybe I had carried part of it home. I spent most of the day sitting on my couch staring at the wall. Trying to make sense of everything. Trying to find a rational explanation. Sleep deprivation. Stress. Hallucinations. Anything. But every explanation collapsed the moment I looked at the folded wet napkins sitting on my kitchen counter. I hadn't put them there. I lived alone. And yet there they were. Perfectly folded. Exactly the way I folded them during patrol. The same pattern. The same creases. The same number. 10. Always 10. The same number of loops required to activate the escalator. That wasn't coincidence. That was communication. And I was beginning to understand the message. That night I made a mistake. A huge mistake. I checked the security footage from my apartment building. I don't know why. Curiosity maybe. Maybe I hoped to catch some trespasser. Sneaking into my apartment. Something normal. Something human. Instead I found something worse. At exactly 3:17 a.m., my apartment door opened. Slowly. Quietly, a figure stepped into the hallway, wearing a security uniform. My security uniform. The figure moved exactly like me. Same height. Same build. Same posture. Same limp in the right leg from an old basketball injury. The footage quality was terrible, but it didn't matter. I knew what I was seeing. The double. The thing from the escalator. The thing that counted. The thing that looked almost like me. Almost. It walked down the hallway, stopped outside my apartment, then stood there. 6 hours. Completely motionless. Watching my door. Waiting. At 9:12 a.m. it turned around and left. I replayed the footage 20 times. The result never changed. I wasn't imagining it. The double existed. And now it knew where I lived. I didn't go back to work that night. Or the night after. But on the third night my phone rang. It was my boss. His voice sounded irritated. Either come back or don't bother coming back. I almost quit. Honestly, I should have. But something stopped me. Because deep down I knew one thing. The answers were still inside the mall. And if I ran now, the loop would follow me forever. So I went back. The moment I entered the building, I knew something had changed. The air felt wrong. The mall felt bigger. The ceiling seemed higher. The hallways longer. like the entire structure had stretched while I was gone. I completed lockdown procedures, locked the doors, checked the gates, finished the routine. Then I walked directly to the escalators.
No hesitaste.
No fear, just determination. The white tape was still there, waiting, exactly where I had left it. I began counting. 1 loop, 2, 3. By loop 6 I started hearing footsteps. Not behind me, below me, following the rhythm of my count. 7, 8, 9. The footsteps got louder, closer. 10. The mannequins turned. Every head rotated simultaneously, every face staring toward the escalator. The loop had begun. 44, 45, 46. I reached the top and nearly screamed. Someone was standing there, waiting. It was me. Not the distorted version, not the unfinished copy. This looked exactly like me. Perfectly. Every detail, every scar, every wrinkle, everything. The only difference was the eyes. Its eyes never blinked. Not once. We stared at each other, neither moving, neither speaking. Then it smiled. I wish it hadn't. Because the smile wasn't hostile. It wasn't threatening. It looked sympathetic, like it felt sorry for me. Then it spoke. "You're getting close." My throat tightened. The voice was identical to mine. Close to what? I whispered. The double glanced toward Unit 214, then back at me. "To remembering." The word hit me like a punch. Remembering? Remembering what? I opened my mouth to ask another question, but the lights flickered. Just once. And the double vanished. Gone. Like it had never existed. The mall became silent. The music stopped. The fountains stopped. Even the escalators stopped moving. For the first time since this began, everything froze. Then a voice echoed through the darkness. Not from the speakers. Not from the escalators. From everywhere. Level 2 complete. My blood turned to ice. Level 2? What did that mean? How many levels were there? And more importantly, what happened when the game ended? Before I could react, the yellow lamps inside Unit 214 suddenly switched off, one by one, leaving only darkness. Then something moved inside the room. Something enormous, far larger than the room should have been able to contain. And for the first time, whatever lived inside finally stepped toward the doorway.